So if you live in an older home and never seem to have enough cupboard space for the big stuff, this could be such a practical solution. This was gifted to me by the brand to try, so let's go ahead and take a look. This is a metal storage cabinet, and even though something like this is typically used in your garage, your basement, or your workshop, that is not actually how we're planning on using ours. So as we were putting this together, we quickly realized that this would make such a helpful storage option for our home because we're always trying to figure out where to put all the big things in our kitchen. Things like our mixer, salad bowls, our air fryer, large pots, they take up so much room. And because we don't have enough cupboard space, a lot of them end up being stored in the basement, in our coat closet, in the cupboard above our laundry. Then half the time we don't even bother grabbing it because it's just out of sight, out of mind, and an inconvenience. We're actually going to be putting it in our front sunroom. So all of these big kitchen items are going to be easier to access and use. And it's also going to help free up a lot of that crowded cupboard space. So one of the first things that stood out to us was the overall quality. It feels very well made, very sturdy, and the labeling on the panels, hardware, and screws was very clear, which made the assembly process feel a lot more straightforward. I also like that it came with a screwdriver. It's one less thing that you had to go looking for before starting to put the metal cabinet together. The cabinet has 5 different shelves. The shelves are also adjustable, which makes a huge difference because you can set it up around what you're actually needing to store. Each shelf can hold up to 180 pounds. So I think that makes it especially useful for the heavier kitchen appliances like a KitchenAid mixer or other bulkier items that are awkward to store in regular cupboards. It also has locking doors, which is nice if you want that added security, and it comes with the holes and the hardware to anchor it to the wall behind it, which I think is a really important feature for extra stability and peace of mind. For us, the assembly took around 2 hours, but that is not a perfect estimate because we had quite a few interruptions while we were putting it together. So I was not keeping a very close eye on the actual time. So far, this does not feel flimsy or cheaply made at all. It feels like a solid storage piece, and I like that it can work beyond the more typical garage or workshop uses. So if you have been trying to find a better way to store those bigger kitchen items and make things easier to grab when you're in the process of cooking, especially in older homes where storage is limited, this does seem like a very practical option. So overall, from our first impressions, we are really happy with the quality of this metal cabinet. And for our home, it feels like a smart way to add extra storage without needing to change out cabinets or do those extra renovations. So if you are also someone that's looking to add that extra storage space, this is a solid option to check out.
This cabinet was ingeniously made so that you can adjust these legs without tipping the cabinet over, having to move the cabinet. These plastic grommets here are removable. The bolt has a Phillips head in the end of it, so that if you do need to adjust it after it's been in your chosen location, you can pop these out, put your Phillips head screwdriver down through there, and adjust away. Brilliant, if you ask me. And I'm going to try to set all of these feet for the same depth so that hopefully I won't have to adjust it once we stand up. I want to make the mistake of putting it in backwards this time. We put it in forward. Now I'm going to slide it that way a bit, love. You take that little S-shaped hook and you slide that up, and then it just hangs down. I'm going to try to put them all. So that's what I'm going to do. It is very important when you put something like this together to make sure that all of your screws are snug and tight. That will make the difference between this unit lasting you half as long as it should and this unit lasting you twice as long as it should. When stuff is tight, it doesn't flop around. When it doesn't flop around, nothing moves, nothing gets broken. So tighten up all your screws. putting little plastic washers on there. They said to use them for spacers. They will also keep it from squeaking. If I need to move them, I can move them when I am done. So then we have door number 2. Now if you want to come up here, you just push down on that, slide it under. Voila. So then, all right, I like to do it like this. I just want to get that other screw in there before we tighten this up too much. If you did want to affix this cabinet to a wall to make sure that it didn't topple over, or you just want it a little more stable, these are hollow wall anchors. If you're putting them into the gyprock, you would have to line your cabinet up against the wall, make a little mark, move it back, put a small drill hole into the wall, insert the hollow wall anchor, and then you just put these 2 screws in there. And they provide washers, I guess, to keep it a little more snug. Overall, I think it's a very well constructed, very well engineered piece of equipment. Very satisfied with it. The ease of completion, even though I made a couple of small errors myself, it seems quite sturdy. These are magnetic latches for the door. The supplier very, very smartly has provided an extra of each. The cabinet calls for 4. What we have here is 5. A few extra screws, a few extra pieces here. Not because I left them out, because the company was generous and decided they didn't want people calling because one of the screws rolled underneath the fridge. So now these, you just have a little back on them and they'll pop right into the hole. Up there. There's 1, 2.
I want to get on the slide. Let me put it in so I get it better.
3. And 4. So that's simply because the cabinet's not quite level. When we do install it in its final place, it will be level. I think we'll probably just put it over here against the wall for now. And then I will take one of those things out and show folks how to level it up. Do you want to show these fine folks how to level up this cabinet? Use them first. This one here first. Be careful. You don't want to scratch up your new cabinet. And we'll go over to this hole. That would be the keys. That's locked. So overall, I'm very impressed with the cabinet. It was very well engineered to be put together. The directions were very straightforward. It took me roughly 2 hours to assemble it. That was taking a break to take my dog out to pee and doing things at a certain pace to allow my wife to film this. The cabinet itself is sturdy. It's the material it's made of is definitely heavy enough. I know that this was designed for a garage. My wife and I plan to use it in our pantry. We live in an older home with not a great deal of space. This is going to hold a lot of our cooking utensils and free up some much needed space in our 2 little cabinets. I would definitely recommend this unit. Follow the instructions, no extra tools needed. It even has a little color indicator to tell you when it's locked, so that you don't bust the handles off trying to pull it open because you forgot you locked it.